Welcome to 2020. Who would have thought we'd make it this far? Okay, arena rules for 2020. There are 4 areas that the Rules Committee made some major changes, but as far as substantive changes, these are changes in form. And they're not really that substantive. There's a couple substantive changes, but mostly it's just a change in format. So for example, if you've been playing under the alternate arena tournament conditions, the ones where it's 2 points outside the 25 and all those, they made those the rules. So the alternate tournament conditions are now the regular arena rules. That's the main thing they did. Okay, so here's the 4 areas. There's that one, and then they've changed the requirements for your helmet. We're going to go over that in a minute. And then they've delineated the host tournament committee's duties very specifically. So now you have to get a host tournament committee, and you have to make certain decisions and elections. You had to all along, but nobody was paying attention. Very few clubs actually did this. So now you have to do it because it's very clear in the rule book what those duties are. We'll go over those in a minute. And then they've added an election for Rule 7, so you can have a change of possession when the ball goes out, and we'll go over that in a minute too. So those are the main 4 areas. So if you don't elect an alternate Rule 7, the only real change you're going to notice is the helmet, and if you've been playing under the tournament conditions, you're not going to notice much, except that the host tournament committees are going to have to be a little more responsible and a little more active in making some elections. And that's it. So we'll go over them one by one, and we'll make it simple, and I'll be quick. Okay, first thing, NOCSAE approved helmet. NOCSAE is an organization for safety for athletic equipment. Okay, and they've tested some helmets, and the USPA Rules Committee is going to make you buy one of those. Players and umpires are going to have this new approved helmet. Okay, if you're under 18 years old, you must have eye protection. Those are those goggles. There's no specific goggles, just goggles that you want, that you like. Okay? All right, now let's talk about face masks for a second, because they didn't say anything about this. And the reason they didn't say anything is if you're going to do a face mask, you've got to do a NOCSAE approved face mask. In other words, when you get your new helmet, the face mask has to be by the manufacturer of that new helmet and installed either by the manufacturer or the vendor of the new helmet, or according to the guidelines for the new helmet. So the face mask also has to be NOCSAE approved. And that's something to think about. But eye protection is required, and if you do a face mask, of course, I don't think you'll need eye protection because you have a face mask, but it has to be NOCSAE approved face mask. So that's the big change for helmets for 2020. Next, alternate tournament conditions no longer exist. They are now the rules. So what am I talking about? I want to encourage you to access the regular rules for specifics, but I'm going to go over them very generally just so you know what I'm talking about. So those alternate tournament conditions, these are the ones where it's 2 points. A goal is 2 points if it's hit outside the 25-yard line and either goes directly in the goal or bounces off the wall and goes in the goal without touching anything else. That's 2 points. The penalties are a little different. Penalties 2, 3, and 4 only count as 1 point. Even if you put the ball back behind the 25 a foot or so, it still only counts as 1 point. The defending team on a penalty gets to put a defender, of course, on a 4 in the goal. But if it's not a 4, if it's a 2 or a 3, they get to put a defender 10 yards off to either side of the goal. And if the ball rebounds, it does not go in the goal on a penalty shot, and it rebounds. If it rebounds past the 25, it's live for both teams. If it rebounds and does not go past the 25, which is more likely the case, the defender that was put off to the side of the goal has first right to that ball. But he or she must play it within 5 seconds, which is the delay of game rule. Okay? And the attacking team must give that defending player 5 yards, which is 5 yards is a lot. 5 yard space to do that. Okay? And then you can go to the specific penalty rules to see how that plays out. If the ball is hit over the end wall on a penalty, the defending team will get a free hit 5 yards in from where the ball went out. Okay, kind of like a knock-in. Not a knock-in, but like a knock-in. And then penalty 5, which is a spot hit, can be awarded to either team between the 25 yards line going in either direction. Okay? So know that. That's a great improvement for umpires because it gives another option and allows some more discretion in awarding a 5 instead of an automatic 4 if you're on your side of the arena. Okay? Okay. Host tournament committee duties are delineated in the new rules, and they're specific, and host tournament committees are going to have to step it up and make these decisions. So what am I talking about? Let's go through them. There's 10. Any variances, facility variances, in other words, if your arena is a little different than what the USPA recommends, rule number 1, the host tournament committee must note those differences and supply that information to the players and the teams that are playing in the tournament. They need to know that the goal is painted on instead of a regular standard goal, or whatever it is, or the arena is not the size that it's supposed to be. It's 20 feet or 20 yards smaller on the ends or whatever. So that's really important. And the second thing, number 2, team eligibility. Rule 4, host tournament committee is responsible for making sure that all the teams are eligible to play in the USPA tournament. Number 3, how many umpires are you going to use? That's also rule 4. In the arena, you have choices. You can use just 1, or you can use the 3. So they need to make that choice. Number 4, length and number of periods. That's rule 5. You're going to do 4 7.5-minute periods or 6 5-minute periods. The 5th thing, if the ball goes out, are you going to just have it thrown in normally, or are you going to have a change of possession? That's alternate rule 7 and rule 7. So the host tournament committee has to decide that. Number 6, are you going to have overtime chuckers in the event of a tie at the end of the game, or are you going to do a shootout? That's rule 5. Number 7, are you going to do continuous play, or are you going to have throw-ins after every goal? That's rule 6 and 8. Number 8, red card, yellow card. That's rule 14. If a player gets a second yellow card, is he out for 2 minutes and then comes back in at the next dead ball, or is he just out for the rest of the chukker? Because the arena has walls, it's a little different than outdoors. The host tournament committee has to decide that. Okay, number 9, high hook. What's going to constitute a high hook? In arena polo, below 12 goals, doesn't matter. It's the horse's back. Okay, but if it's 12 goals or over, you can have an election. The host tournament committee can elect to make the high hook the player's shoulder, like outdoors. The host tournament committee has to decide that if it's over 12 goals, 12 and over. Okay, number 10, the host tournament committee has to decide if the tournament will be played on the open or the handicap. That's rule 17. And finally, number 11, the defended penalty 3. That's rule 9, and the host tournament committee may elect to have a defended penalty 3 in polo 12 goals and over in the arena. So those are the host tournament committee's duties, are to make those decisions and then make that information available to the players and the teams before the tournament, before the first throw-in, preferably before they pay any money. Because if they don't like what you have decided, they should have the option of not having to enter the tournament or not having to pay any money to enter the tournament. They should be able to withdraw and get a refund or whatever. But the duty of the host tournament committee is to make those decisions and provide that information up front, not after you have the issue. Okay? Okay. Alternate rule 7. Rule 7 is the one that says if the ball goes out, you throw it in from the center to the boards where it went out, but never closer than the 15-yard line to either goal. Okay? We all know that. It's been there for 100 years. Okay. I don't know if it's been there for 100 years, but it's been there a long time. Okay. What they've done is they've made an alternate Rule 7, which is an election to be made by the host tournament committee. Alternate Rule 7 is exactly like Rule 7, except if you make the election to use alternate Rule 7 and the ball goes out along the boards, okay, because the arena is surrounded by boards, you will award a change of possession, or you will award possession to the team that did not touch the ball last just before it went out. So if a white player hits the ball and it hits the black player's horse and goes out, white player will get possession of the ball near where it went out, 5 yards in from the wall. It's always 5 yards in from the wall. Okay? Now, with that being said, because the arena is small, and you could have the ball go out, say, on the 15-yard line, and you could get a change of possession, and you could get possession, and you're attacking the goal, and you're 15 yards out, that would be a very congested situation. So, how this is going to be handled is if you will never be awarded a change of possession between the center of the arena and the goal you're attacking. It will always be brought back to the center. But if you're going short and the other team hits the ball out or it touches the other team and goes out, you'll get it from the center. If you're going long, you'll get it from wherever it went out, 5 yards in from the wall. Okay, so you're never going to get that situation where you're 20 yards out and you're attacking the goal and you're going to get a possession. That's not going to happen because it's too crazy in the arena to try to do that sort of a change of possession. So it'll always be from center or further out. Make sense? Makes sense to me. That's how it was explained to me. So let's hope that they stick to that. Okay, and that is it for Arena 2020 Rules Update. That's all there is. Everything else is the same. I do want to encourage you to go to the video rulebook and look at the specific rules. Of course, they're all updated. It's all the new ones. If you have any questions on how this plays out or alternate Rule 7, I'm a little more specific in the regular rules videos about how things should be. This is just a general update, just to make you aware of it. And that's it. Welcome to 2020. Best of luck. See you around the country.